Okay, so you can start off with the circle that you've traced. So we're just gonna go in and start to make these lines a little more less, we're gonna make these lines less straight and perfect. And then in the middle, you're gonna make a little donut hole, and here we're not going to be making a perfect circle either, so it could be a little bit lopsided. And if it's too small, you can always, you know, fix it to your liking. So there we go. And then you're also gonna do the outline for the icing. And again, you don't want it to look perfect. Maybe there's like a blob over here that's kind of spilled over. It could be thicker and thinner in some areas. And then of course there's going to be some in here. So I'm just gonna erase the lines that I don't need. So that's the donut hole itself, and then the icing line, you know, it could be like this. We're gonna add in the spots where we're gonna have shadow. So we're gonna have some shadow here, of a visible donut over here, maybe some over here, like this. And we'll come back to that afterwards. Yeah, so there's gonna be some shadow in here, which we'll come back to. And then of course there's gonna be shadow over here that's going to just sort of like that. And we can actually just give it a quick, you know, line shade thing, so that we know where we're going with that. We wanna add in sprinkles. So if you wanted to do this without sprinkles, that's fine. But if you're gonna do sprinkles, you wanna just make sure you draw in. Now, contrary to what we assume, all sprinkles are not going to be the same size, because some of them are going to be broken up like into bits. Add a base layer for the donut itself. So I'm going to leave some spots that are white and glossy. So there's some glossy spots here that I'm going to leave. There's one glossy spot there, there's one here. And then we're just going to go over. And then we're gonna just go in here. Extra careful, so I'm just going to use the fine tip side. The pink marker and go into specifically the areas that I know I'm gonna have the dark pink in, because some parts of the donut are obviously gonna be highlighted. And then if you like, you can just add an extra little bit of shading around here. Which is a lighter pink, and we just want to go in and blend out some of this slowly. Then we're going to take our darker pink, and this is just called Rose. And we want to just add enough shading that the icing will look rounded, so that it's like, you know, spilling over the donut. And then you'll see that it'll start to look a little more, it'll pick itself up a little. So we've got a lot of white in this area over here, so I'm going to start off by adding some of the white here. I have to come back in with some marker or paint or something at the end to really give it a glossy look, because the white that goes on top of the pink is obviously not going to be as vivid, but we'll come back in later on. Right now we're going to highlight it a little. So those areas are going to be highlighted, maybe around here, around that indented area, highlighted. Up here. Okay, and then over here it's gonna be a little bit on top, but then over here it's kind of gonna be at the edge like this. So I'm gonna take this darker pink marker and I just want to add some extra shading that I can go over. So it's probably gonna be here. And then yeah, we can use the dark brown, and then you're just gonna go and blend it out. Okay, and then we're gonna take the lighter pink, and we just want to go into some of these areas as well. Just want to go in and add some shading. So there is a lot of white over here, like I said earlier, so just gonna blend. Okay, so I'm gonna take the white and just blend. I'm gonna move on to the actual donut itself so we can kind of get an idea of what the colors are. So I've got this chocolate color. Let's start on the inside. So I just want to make this a little darker. And there is like a slight orangish tinge, so I'm gonna use goldenrod. Yellowy color. Yellow ochre, really bright orange, and I just want to, because the light is making this part really, really dark. So I want to make sure I get that. So I'm also going to take this yellow marker and just add some yellow in there. It's a very faint line where you can kind of see the shadow of this icing. Pink up here. To check and see what I want over here. So let's try this page filler. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. We might have to add a little layer of yellow over that. Maybe. We'll see. Take our chocolate brown and do some shading over here. Use some of the goldenrod to blend the brown. And you can use any light brown that you have for this part. And of course, once in a while, we're gonna go back and do some shading. Don't forget to take a beige or something to mix them together. You can even use a peach color. I'm gonna take the brown again, and I just wanna and then I want to take the beige and just blend that out. And you could do the same thing at the top here. And blend out this line that we made earlier. This marker, and just add a little bit over here. And maybe a little out here. You can also drag it up a little bit over here in the light brown. And just with that. Anywhere that you add the marker or any pencil crayon, then you need to make sure that you blend. This would be a little darker here. I'll give them a nice outline, a darker outline on one side. And I'm going to choose a darker yellow for that. Okay, be really careful. So I'm going to change these two to orange because they were kind of being weird. Okay. And then you want to do the same thing with the other colors. So for blue, you're going to have to find, you know, an even darker blue. The white, sure. I'm going to start off in certain areas, so start off here, for example. Not add too much. And then I'm going to go directly in with the pen for some parts, like parts that have a lot of white in them. These have too much. Pencil. And I'm gonna just go in and add some shading. So the shading is darkest here, and you're gonna need a Q-tip for this part. You can just and you're gonna take the white and you're just gonna blend the pencil and the white together. And we're gonna mix some pink in there because there is some pink in the shadow.